It's amazing how intelligent bumblebees are, despite the fact that their brains are the size of a tiny poppy seed. These small insects have incredible intelligence. Recently, researchers have discovered that bees experience emotions and can even be rational. For example, they can show signs of anxiety in frightening situations such as simulating a predator attack. They become indecisive and cautious, even avoiding perfectly safe flowers. This indicates that they may have feelings similar to those we have. We call them emotions. They may also experience discomfort and pleasure. Scientists have taught bees to associate colors with rewards and surprises. When the bees received unexpected treats, they behaved happier. Can you imagine? They also created situations for the bees in which they had to choose between discomfort and reward. Bees have shown that they can evaluate options and make decisions based on their feelings. This suggests that they might feel discomfort just like us. They can even show complex emotions such as optimism, frustration, and playfulness. And these are not the only surprises that bees have brought us. Bees are not just honey producers and pollinators. There are more than 25,000 different species of bees in the world, each with its own unique lifestyle. They live in a sensory world completely different from ours, seeing objects in ultraviolet polarized light. They can even sense magnetic and electric fields of the earth. This helps them to determine which flowers other bees have visited. An important moment in the evolution of bees occurred during the Jurassic period. Their ancestors decided to switch from vagrancy to nest building. To do this, they had to remember the location of their base, otherwise they would have been in great trouble. So their brains adapted, certain areas became more complicated to cope with new information, and millions of years later, they Researchers created special Y-shaped mathematical mazes for bees. Instead of numbers or symbols which bees can't understand, they used colors. Blue color meant adding 1 and yellow meant subtracting. Bees had to choose the correct path, orienting themselves based on the colors they saw at the beginning of the maze. After some training, during which bees made hundreds of travels through the maze, they seemed to have mastered it. Then, a test followed. The tiny insects gave the correct answer more often than it could have happened by chance. This doesn't mean that bees perform complex mathematical calculations in their head, but they may have a flexible brain capable of mastering new tasks, even if they don't use them, in their natural environment. They also demonstrated understanding of the concept of zero. Scientists trained them to recognize the smaller of two numbers. They showed the bees pictures with different numbers of shapes, rewarded them with sweet sugar water if they chose a picture with fewer shapes, but if they chose a picture with more shapes, they got a bitter taste of quinine. When the bees got used to it, the researchers offered them a new option, a blank picture without shapes. And the bees preferred a blank picture to an image with 2 or 3 shapes almost half the time. This suggests that they realized that it means 0 means less than 2 or 3. In further tests, the bees showed that they could distinguish 1 from 0. This can help them keep an eye out for predators or find food sources more efficiently. And if bees can understand 0, who knows how many more animals can do the same? Bees are not only. They can learn to memorize new things, but also teach each other to do the same as we do. Scientists arranged a cunning puzzle in the laboratory, taught some bumblebees to solve it. At first, experienced bees coped with the puzzle, then they taught their ignorant friends how to solve it. It turns out that not only people can transfer knowledge in this way. In another experiment, bees were given a puzzle that they had to solve for several days, despite having enough. They couldn't solve it without human help. But once they saw the solution, they quickly got their bearings. It also turns out that if there's a bee genius in the group, then its clever ideas can be passed on and shape society for many generations, remarkably similar to humans. Even behavior that we considered purely instinctive, like the famous honey dance, seems to have come about through social learning. Bees can even be taught to use tools, a skill that was previously thought to be exclusive to certain types of mammals, birds, and other creatures. They devised a test where bees had to move a small ball to the center of a platform to get a sweet reward. In nature, bees don't do anything like this, so the biologists had to train them. Using a plastic bee on a stick, the researchers demonstrated the task to the bees. After a few days of training, the bees began to independently drag the ball to the center again. They showed the other bees how to do it. Interestingly, they didn't just mindlessly repeat past experiences, they enhanced their knowledge in new situations, choosing the most effective path to success. For instance, when bees needed to choose between multicolored balls, they picked the one closest to the center, despite being trained under different conditions. This indicates that bees don't simply follow instructions, they think and adapt to new tasks. We used to think of bees as a homogeneous workforce, a large hive mind serving their queen tirelessly. But this view is being challenged by new research. It turns out, honeybees possess individual traits. Some bees are more adventurous, while others prefer staying closer to the hive. A small percentage of bees, known as nest scouts, display risk-taking behaviors when scouting for new hive locations. Places for hives. These adventurous scouts are not only more predisposed to seek new nesting sites, but also undertake food searches. There are huge variances in gene activity in the brains of scout bees compared to bees who don't scout. The brains of the scout bees showed enhanced activity in the reward system. This is where their preference for new experiences comes from. This trait is highly similar to the novelty-seeking behavior seen in humans and other animals. Their personalities can sometimes be shaped by memories of past experiences, and there are bees who even show signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. Bees in the hive select jobs based on their personality characteristics. They can also be trained to recognize different smells. They display a remarkable sensitivity to volatile substances, and because of this, they can even detect diseases. The bees were trained to associate the smell of infected samples with a sugar reward. Water bees rapidly learned to extend their tongues in response to the scent alone, without needing to receive rewards, allowing them to detect infected samples within seconds. This was successful with both mink and human samples. Bees have demonstrated highly accurate results in distinguishing between infected and healthy specimens. Now we're looking to scale up this innovative approach and develop prototype machines that can automatically train several bees. This technology could serve as an efficient diagnostic system, particularly in low-income countries. Bees also possess many other abilities. They can learn in their dreams, meaning they might dream about what they experienced during the day. They can also remember human faces, memorizing unique features and recognizing them upon subsequent encounters. In one study, scientists associated an image. Bees remember faces linked to sweet rewards even when there's no reward present. It helps them recognize each other and return to flowers that produce more pollen. What does this mean for us? If bees truly experience emotions and have some sort of intelligence, it changes our relationship with them. They're already under threat of extinction, but now we need to treat them with more care, so be careful with bees.